Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Person, Mr. Dr. Andi Kaharudin SIPM, whom as a lecturer of Morphology and Sintax in the class of English Education Department A 2024 for academic year 2025-2026. Excuse me, sir. I'm Firkoh Najarala with student ID number 204-001-24 and 006. And allow me to answer assignment 5, compounding and its pedagogical value. First question. What are the main types of compounding in English, and can you provide example for each? And the answer is, according to Plaque 2003, compounds in English can be classified based on grammatical category of their components and the result words. Understanding this classification helps learners predict both the meaning and the usage of compound words more accurately. There are 5 main types of compounding. For the first, noun plus noun compounds. This is the most common type and of compound in English. For example, toothbrush, classroom, hairbrush. In these patterns, the second noun usually acts as the head, determining the overall grammatical category and function of the compound. And the second is verb plus noun compound. For example, pickpocket and scarecrow. These compounds are often semantically opaque, meaning their meaning cannot always be directly inferred from their parts and must be understood through context. And the third is adjective plus noun compounds. For example, greenhouse and blackboard. This type of compound typically combines an adjective and a noun, where the adjective modifies the noun to create a more specific meaning. And the fourth is noun plus verb and verb plus verb compounds. Although less common, this combination also exists in English. For example, babysit, verb plus verb, and sunshine is noun plus verb. And the fifth is preposition plus noun or verb compounds. For example, underward or overthrow. Compound of this kind often express spatial relationship or direction. Understanding these compounding patterns help learners develop strategies for interpreting unfamiliar words and encourage creativity in forming new vocabulary, according from Bawer and Renov 2001. Number 2. What is the difference between semantic transparency and opacity in compound words? And the answer is, Lieber 2009 explains that compound in English vary in how easily their meanings can be understood from their individual components. Some compounds are semantically transparent, meaning their overall meaning can be clearly inferred from the meanings of the words that form them. For example, bedroom, a room that contains a bed. In contrast, semantically opaque compounds have meaning that are not directly related to the literal meanings of their parts. For example, butterfly and honeymoon. Understanding this distinction enables learners to manage their expectation when interpreting compounds and to approach unfamiliar words with greater contextual awareness. And number 3, How does stress placement impact the interpretation of compound words? And the answer is, according to Roach 2009, stress placement plays an important role in distinguishing compound words from ordinary phrases in spoken English. The position of stress helps listener identify whether two words function as a single compound or separate adjective and noun phrase. For the first part is compound noun, and for example is blackboard. Stress on the first element, black, and the second is praise, contains adjective plus noun. For example, blackboard. Stress on the second element, it's board. In compound nouns, the first element typically carries the main stress, whereas in adjective and noun praise, and the second element is stressed. Recognizing these stress patterns help learners improve both their listening comprehension and pronunciation accuracy, allowing them to distinguish meaning more effectively in spoken context, according from Roach 2009. Number 4. Describe the compound scavenger hunt activity and its education objectives. And the answer is objective to help students identify and analyze compound words found in real context, such as authentic text or their classroom environment. And for activity description, in this activity, students search for compound words in various sources such as books, posters, or classroom objects and record their finding. After collecting the example, they categorize each compound based on its structure, for instance, noun plus noun or adjective plus noun, and discuss the meanings of the words they have found. This activity encourages students to actively notice how compounds words function in everyday language. It strengthens their ability to recognize word formations, patterns, and support their skills in morphological analysis, according from Nation 2010. And number 5, what are some strategies for distinguishing compound words from praise in the classroom? And the answer is distinguishing compound words from praise can be challenging for learners, especially in spoken English. The following strategies can help make the difference clearer. For the first, part A is stress patterns. Compounds usually have stress on the first word, for example, blackboard, while praise stress the second, for example, blackboard, according from Roach 2009. And part B is meaning. Compound create a new undefined meaning, like toothbrush have a meaning, a tool for cleaning teeth, while praise are more literal, for example, greenhouse have a meaning, a house that is green. And part C is modifiability. Modifiers can appear in praise, like a fairy blackboard, but not in compounds. For example, or a fairy blackboard. And part D is spelling. Compounds can be written as a word, hyphenated or separate words, like blackboard, mother-in-law, and ice cream. And the last part is context-based practice. Classroom activities such as compound scavenger hunts help students identify compounds in real context and strengthen their understanding. And number 6, what are the key components of assessing compound word knowledge in learners? And the answer is assessing compound word knowledge involves evaluating how well learners can recognize, analyze, and use compound in context. For the first part is formative assessment ideas, contains 3 elements. For the first, compound word identification quizzes. For the second is word matching test, and the third is categorization activities. And the second part is summative assessment ideas, contains 2 elements. For the first short writing assignment using the target compounds, and the second is compound analysis charts like types, stress, and meaning. These activities develop both receptive and productive morphological skills, according from Nagy, Anderson, and Herman, 1987. And number 7, how can an understanding of compounding improve vocabulary acquisition for English language learners, and what challenge might arise when teaching in this progress to beginners? And the answer is a solid understanding of compounding can significantly enhance English learners' vocabulary development. When students recognize how two words combine to form a new meaning, for example, toothbrush or raincoat, they become better at interpreting unfamiliar compounds and creating new ones by applying similar patterns. This process fosters morphological awareness, which plays an important role in improving both word comprehension and production, according from Nation 2001. Despite its benefit, teaching compounding also presents several challenges, particularly for beginners. Some compounds are semantically opaque, such as butterfly, making their meanings hard to predict from the individual words. Learners may also face difficulties with stress placement and in telling compounds apart from ordinary phrases. To overcome these obstacles, teachers should provide explicit explanations, use context-rich examples, and include pronunciation practice to help students understand and apply compound words more effectively. And number 8. In what ways can the distinction between transparent and opaque compounds affect a learner's ability to infer meaning? And how should educators address this difference in their teaching? And the answer is, the difference between transparent and opaque compounds greatly influence how learners understand and interpret new vocabulary. Transparent compounds such as bedroom and raincoat are easier to comprehend because their overall meanings clearly relate to the meanings of their parts. On the other hand, opaque compounds like butterfly or honeymoon are harder to interpret since their meaning cannot be directly inferred from their individual components, according from Lieber 2009. For teachers, this distinction emphasizes the importance of explicit explanation and contextual learning. Educators should demonstrate how transparent compounds follow predictable meaning patterns, and while opaque compounds often need to be learned as a whole lexical items. Using strategies such as visual support, semantic mapping, and context-based activities can make it easier for students to grasp and remember the different types of compounds effectively. Number 9. given the importance of stress patterns in compound word recognition, and how can teachers effectively incorporate stress awareness into their pronunciation and listening comprehension lessons. And the answer is incorporating stress awareness in teaching compounds, because stress patterns play a key role to identifying compound words. Teacher should integrate stress awareness into both pronunciation and listening activities. One effectively approach is through constructive practice. When learners compare compound stress, for example, blackboard, with praise stress, for example, blackboard, this helps students notice how stress placement affect meaning and grammatical function, according from Roach 2009. Teacher can also use listening discrimination tasks that train students to identify stress patterns in authentic speech, as well as pronunciation drills or repetition exercises to build accuracy and confidently. Incorporating visual stress markers such as underlining or bolding the stress syllable can further support visual and auditory learning. And last number, how can the pedagogical strategies for teaching compounding, such as compound creating tasks and word sorting activities, be adapted for different proficiency levels and learning environments? And the answer is adapting strategies for teaching compounding. Teaching strategies like compound creating and word sorting activities can be modified based on learners' proficiency and learning context. For beginner, teacher can use simple recognition tasks and visual aids to help identify common compounds. Intermediate learners can practice guided word formation to build awareness of meaning and structure. For advanced students, more analytical tasks such as exploring semantic, transparency, or stress patterns can be introduced. In both classroom and online settings, interactive tools and context-based exercises keep students engaged while developing their understanding of compounding. Okay, that's all answer from me. I'm sorry or I have a mistake. I apologize or I have error. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.